you. Wow. Oh my goodness, you guys. Like, you guys came out tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I'm from the East Side, East Toledo. And if you know anything about the East Side, you know that we do some really weird stuff. Like, we put couches on our front porches, and we go to Walmart in our pajamas. And so my whole life, when I've told people I was from the East Side, they looked at me like I had two heads. I mean, it's described as like a whole different world, because actually it is. There's not a lot of success that comes from the East Side. There's not, people who don't cross the bridge, even though they're born and raised in Toledo, they don't cross the bridge unless they're from there. So, and I get that, I understand. But the East Side made me who I am. It gave me the grit, it gave me the determination, it gave me everything that I needed to succeed. In fact, last week I was at an event and I saw a high school friend, and he's from the East Side, and he pulled me aside and he said, "Angela, look at this room. Like, there's important people in here. Like, how did we get here? We're not supposed to be here. They said we wouldn't make it." And I looked at him and I said, "We made it because we didn't wait for their approval to succeed. We didn't wait for their permission. We decided what we were going to do, and we did it." And the same is true for you. There's not anything that you can't do if you don't know the codes. So this is Code City, right? So I came with 4 codes tonight. So you might want to write these down. There's 4 codes that no matter your qualifications or lack of qualifications, I don't care where you come from, I don't care what side of the bridge you come from, if you know these 4 things, you can succeed without their permission. Because here's the truth, I am proof that you can. Here's the 4 codes I want to give you tonight. Number 1, learn something new every day. Number 2, add value. Number 3, be consistent with branding yourself. You are a brand. It is 2017. If you are walking and breathing, you are a brand. And number 4, show up. So I always knew that I was a leader. I instinctively knew that about myself. The problem is that I couldn't get other people to see me as a leader. So I had to figure out, what can I do to get them to see me as a leader so that they can call me for opportunities, so that they can remember me, so that they can know my name. And so that's what I had to figure out. So the first thing I had to do was I had to learn some new stuff, right? Because the stuff that I knew was not going to cut it for where I was trying to go. I had to level up. I had to step my game up. So when I tell y'all that, like, I inhaled information for 2 years, I checked out hundreds of books from the library on everything from leadership to human psychology to finance to faith, religion, you name it. I studied it. And so what happened as a result of that is that when I finally got the opportunity to sit at the table, because here's the thing, when you start preparing yourself, when you start to learn everything that you can, opportunity comes. It's literally like magic. It's like, oh, I've been waiting for you. You are finally ready. You are finally prepared to go to the next level. Opportunity is not going to come unless you prepare for it. So because I was so prepared, and I didn't know what opportunity I was looking for, I didn't know what opportunity was coming to me, it came. And when I finally got at the seat at the table, and I'm talking about a seat with CEOs and executives, I could not only keep up with the conversation, I contributed to it. So again, who is this girl from East Toledo? A place where nobody even dares to go over the tracks unless they're from there. Who is she to be sitting at a table with a CEO, an executive? So when I started contributing to the conversation, it went something like this. Oh, that's a good idea, Angela. Yeah, we should implement that. So I did that consistently. I consistently brought new ideas to the table. I would leave a meeting and go home and study about what we just talked about. So the next time I was ready. I did that faithfully over a course of probably 6 or 7 months. Then I got their respect. What happened after that was, hey, Angela, would you co-chair this committee? Well, yes, I will. Not knowing what the heck I was doing, because here's the thing, when opportunity knocks, you say yes. I don't care if you're prepared for it. I don't care if you know what you're doing. You say yes, and you figure it out later. So I said, yes, sure I will. I'll co-chair that. So when I smashed that job, what happened next was, hey, you should be on this board. Let's put you on this board. Hey, you should have this job. Let's get you this job. So that's what started happening to me. So the first thing you need to do is consume all that you can. That's the first thing. Never stop learning. I turned my car into a university. I stopped listening to music because that was not going to help me get where I was trying to go. I was listening to podcasts. I was listening to audiobooks. I signed up for webinars. I took classes. I mean, I did everything and all of it. So that's the first thing you need to know, is that you need to start consuming as much information as you can. Most people read, but I'm talking about every single day. And so even though I'm sitting up here talking to you, that hasn't stopped. My hustle, my grind is still going. I'm up every day at 5 a.m. because I need 1 hour to read. I need to make sure when I leave my house, I know what I'm talking about, that I can run into anybody and have a conversation and know what's going on. I am always preparing myself for that opportunity that I don't know is coming. The second thing I did was I started adding value to people. So every time I entered a room, I came in with something to give, every time. Whether that was a smile, whether that was some coffee, whether that was an idea, information, something. I came in that room and I was going to give you something. And if you go to work every day with that little Starbucks cup in your hand and you only have one of them, you're doing it wrong. You need to know what your coworkers like to drink. You need to know how your boss likes his coffee. And so when you make that run, make sure you get some more for your teammates. That's how you elevate. That's how you add value, because we live in a society where we're so me, myself, and I. And you can stand out if you're just the person who takes notice. If you're just the person who makes someone else feel seen and heard. So another thing I started to do with adding value, and if there was a book that I was reading that I thought my coworker should read because it would get her a promotion, guess what? I passed that book to her. If there was an article that I read that I thought my boss would benefit from knowing, I emailed it to him. I always had my ears ready to see what was needed, and I wanted to make sure that I was the one to deliver it, because I want you to remember me. So I was always ready to give, give, give. In fact, I still live that way. It's just a way of life for me now. You're never going to have an encounter with me and leave the same. Not ever. The second thing I did was I started connecting people. One of the most powerful things you can do is be a connector of people. If there was 2 people who I thought would benefit from knowing each other, I connected them. So if your Rolodex is not big enough where you can pick up the phone and say, hey, I know so-and-so, you should meet them, then you need to get started on your networking. Relationships are currency. There's nothing greater than relationships. Every position that I have ever had is because I knew somebody. And not only because I knew somebody, it's because they knew me. It's not necessarily who you know, but who knows you. And they'll remember you if you're unforgettable. If you're adding so much value to the people around you, to your company, to your teammates, you will be unforgettable. This is how you stand out in an oversaturated world. You have to distinguish yourself. My philosophy is anytime I'm on a board or a job or anywhere, and my time has come where I'm leaving, I want them to be sad. I want them to say, man, we just really lost somebody. Right? Because you don't want to be the person, oh, okay, well, good luck. Good luck to you in the future. No, I want there to be a void when I leave. Because I was so significant in that company that they know they lost something good when they lost me. Here's the thing. We all know that saying, go the extra mile, right? So that comes from Jesus' day. It was when the Roman soldiers could legally make the Jewish people carry their armor for a mile when they walked through Jerusalem. So, and that armor was heavy and it was hot. But here's the thing. Jesus said, if they ask you to go 1 mile, go 2. So in my current position, I'm called a finance manager. But guess what? I'm a lot of other things. Because if I see the trash bin overflowing, I'm taking it out. I don't care if we have a janitor. I'm going to do it. If there's something that needs to be done, I'm going to do it. You can't be too big for small things. Just do it. Distinguish yourself. There's a wonderful quote I love, and it says, "The only certain means of success is to render more and better service than is expected of you, no matter what your task may be." So don't fall into that title trap. That is so unimportant. People are not impressed by that. That will get you in the door, but it won't get you to stay in the door. What's going to have you stay in the door is the value that you're adding. The third thing I did strategically was I was consistent when I branded myself. Right? So, who is Angela Lucas? She's a marketing strategist. Right? You know me by that. And that's strategic because you are a brand. This is 2017. So everything you put out on social media, everything, needs to align with who you want people to know that you are. And you have to be consistent with it over and over and over again. So who is it that you want to be? Here's the thing. I don't care about your qualifications. I don't care about your experience. I care about what you want to do with your life. That's what I care about. Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Then start branding yourself as an entrepreneur. Do you want to open up a bakery? Start branding yourself as a baker. Whatever it is you want to do, start branding yourself in that way. Because here's the thing, opportunity comes to those who people know they can trust. And they can't trust you if you are inconsistent. That means you can't get in your feelings on Facebook. You cannot get in your feelings on Instagram. You have to be consistent with who you tell the world that you are all of the time. It takes discipline to brand yourself in such a way that people call you for opportunities. Here's the thing. I used to get so frustrated when I would see people out on the speaking circuit, and I'm like, wait a minute, but I'm a speaker. But how would they know that? I never branded myself like that. So you can literally have anything you want to have. You can do anything you want to do if you're strategic about who you tell the world that you are. If you take my Instagram class, you will hear me say over and over and over again, find a couple of things, 3 or 4 things that you want people to know about you and share that and nothing else. Because you have to control the narrative. If you want to be successful, despite their permission, you have to control the narrative all the time. Consistency. And here's the thing, don't let your lack of experience, it's like when you go for a job interview, right? You have the degree for the job, but you still don't get the job. Because what do they say? Well, you don't have enough experience. It's 2017. You have to create your own experience. There's so many opportunities to do that. So for me, when I wanted to be branded as a marketing strategist, I had to start teaching a class. So people would see me as someone who knew how to brand myself and other people. So you need to be teaching. When you start teaching, it makes you an authority automatically. So start teaching what you know, and people will see you in that light. Don't let your lack of education be an excuse not to succeed. And don't let your education, if you have one, be an excuse to stay stuck where you are. Because I don't care how impressive your titles are, MBA, whatever you have. If you're in a job just because that job fits your degree, then you're not successful. Because real success is doing what you know you were created to do and nothing else. And there are steps to get there, but you have to have the courage enough to do it. It's not easy. It is not easy. The fourth code is showing up. Like, I have heard my whole life that showing up is half the battle. And that could not be more true. Most people don't even show up nowadays. They say, well, I don't really feel like it. I'm just going to stay home tonight. Or I know I committed to that, but that was a month ago, and I don't want to do it anymore. But success comes to those people who are consistent and they show up. I have to be able to trust you. That's when I'm going to promote you, when I can trust you. So you have to make sure you are showing up no matter how you feel. This is not a feeling game. Because listen, there's going to be somebody more qualified than you. There's going to be somebody with that degree that you don't have. There's going to be somebody with more experience than you have. You have to outwork your competition. That means I don't care how tired I am, I'm showing up. I'm here. I'm ready. What needs to be done? I'm your girl. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. That has to be your philosophy if you're going to succeed without their permission. Because here's the thing. You don't need all of that stuff that you once needed to succeed. You don't need it anymore. You just need diligence. You have to hustle. If you hustle, there is nothing that you cannot do, especially in Toledo, especially here. Because there's so many things that have not been done yet that they're waiting for you to do it. They're waiting for somebody to step up and take that role. There is so much opportunity here, so much. Just make sure you take advantage of it. The people who get the opportunities are the people who show up, period. Like I told my friend from high school that I seen at that event, and he's like, how the heck did we get here, Angela? We got here because we showed up, and we outworked the competition. It's as simple as that. He was in that room because he knew that this was the place to be. I was in the room because I knew it was the place to be. Is your face in the place? Because if it's not, then your competition is. And so they're not even thinking about you anymore. They're thinking about your competition. So you always want to be like, hey, I'm here. Do you see me? I want you to know who I am. Another thing that showing up requires is facing your fears. Because when you start to use these principles and you start to say, okay, I'm getting ready to crush it, there's going to be some fears that you run into. And I'm going to get super vulnerable here. And like nobody knows but my husband, and now all of Toledo is going to know. So I have this fear, like actually it's a phobia, like it's beyond a fear, of elevators. And don't let it take too long to open the doors, like when we hit the floor, open the doors, like get me out of here. So I was at work a couple weeks ago, and for the most part, like I can avoid them. I'll like take the stairs, And then, but a couple weeks ago I was at work, and my boss called, and he's like, hey, Angela, can you do me a favor? I'm like, sure, you know me, of course, yes, what you need. And he's like, hey, can you go pick up something at 1C gate? Okay, where at? the 16th floor. Oh my God, seriously? Like, instant panic attack. Like, I'm sweating. I'm like trying to figure out how to get out of this. I can't do it. But then I was like, wait a minute. I know that the higher I go, it's going to force me to face my fears. So I did it. I prayed to Jesus, baby Jesus, every Jesus. And I did it, and I got it. And then a couple weeks after that, they said, hey, Angela, we want you to work for us on the 22nd floor. There's no way I can take the stairs 22 flights every day. So here's my thing. When you start stepping out there, it's going to be some stuff that you're afraid of. I don't know what you're afraid of, but I know it's something because everybody has something. It might be what people are going to say about you. Who does she think she is? Oh, they're going to say that. Believe that. Who does he think he is? He doesn't have that degree. Why does he think he can do that? Who made him a developer? I don't remember ever seeing him develop anything, you know. So they're going to say that. That's going to come. But you do it anyways. Shots will be fired when you start succeeding and they're like, wait a minute, she didn't follow the plan. She didn't follow the course. She doesn't belong here. Or she shouldn't have did it that way. That's going to happen. And when that happens, I want you to know you made it. Because if they're not talking about you, you haven't done anything. You want them to talk about you. So I want you to take these 4 codes, and I want you to crush it in whatever it is that you want to do. I don't care about your experience. It doesn't matter. If you don't have enough experience, create it. I want you to start adding value. Don't ever enter a room without something to give. If all you have to give is a compliment, then give that. But never walk into a room and they don't recognize your presence because you haven't added any value. Make sure when you leave that table, they're like, man, who the heck was that? Because see, people get so caught up in their degrees. And they feel so, you know, I'm this and I'm this and I'm this. But they just don't know those top executives who I get the opportunity to work with on a daily basis now. So I hear their conversations. I know what they think. I know how they talk. I know what they like. And above all, they value those people who add value to them. That's the people that they promote. That's how a girl from East Toledo can now be promoted to the 22nd floor without the appropriate degrees. Because I did all those 4 codes. I hustled. For years, I hustled. And we have 3 kids, my husband and I. And it was sometimes, I got to drop one kid off here, one kid off here, to get to the place to go to a meeting for free. For free. They wasn't paying me nothing. And now people pay me for what I know. How does that happen? I just gave you the 4 keys. I gave you everything I had. I did that, and I did it consistently, and I smashed it every time, and I hustled, and I outworked my competition. Because I said, the people of Toledo are going to know who I am. And the same is true for you. The same is true for you. So no more about your experience, no more about your degrees that you have or you do not have. That does not matter. You walk into a room and you make the other person feel like they're the most important person in the room, guess what? You will not be forgotten. That's how you get promoted. That's how you succeed without their permission. I have no permission to be where I am. I have no permission to have the title that I have. I have no permission to be in boardrooms with CEOs of all these corporations here and contribute to the conversation and be asked my opinion. I don't have permission to do that, but I did it anyway. And that's the formula. So I want you to thank you. I want you to remember those things tomorrow. I want you to have 2 Starbucks cups in your hand. Not one. Get to know your coworkers. Don't be concerned about your own promotion. Do what you can do to help them get promoted. It's a boomerang effect. Whatever you put out there, you get back. So you just concentrate on other people. It is never about you, ever. If you live a life that is so concentrated on helping other people succeed, it is inevitable that you will succeed. There's no question. It's a universal law. It will happen every single time. Make sure you brand yourself. Stay out of your feelings on social media. I love memes. I laugh at them. I might even comment on it, but you will never find one on my timeline. Not ever. Because that's not who I am. And I don't want you to know me like that. I don't want you to get mixed up with who I am. I am who I tell you I am. I'm a branding expert because I say I am. Because I've studied, I've hustled, I've tried it out. I know it works. I know it doesn't work. That's how I want you to know me. All that other stuff, if you're in your emotions or whatever, call a friend. Don't put it on social media. Call a friend. That's what a friend is for. Because everything you post is either opening a door or closing a door, whether you like it or not. You cannot post whatever you want without consequences. It doesn't work that way. It's always opening a door or closing a door. And every move I make is strategic. Every single move. Everywhere I go, every person I'm involved with, every post I make, everything is strategic to me and where I'm trying to go. It's a lot of work. But I am proof before you. Someone from the east side well, I don't go to Walmart in my pajamas anymore. But that is totally an east side thing, right? But if I did it, I promise you, you can do it. Thank you.